Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Now let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today here in Europe. I'm Caroline Hepker alongside Jemana Basecci. We're joined by Bloomberg's equities reporter Chloe Mallet. Good morning, Chloe.
Good morning.
Societe Generale shares have surged as much as 8.5% higher. Why?
Yeah, so we got really positive results from SocGen this morning. So we've got a €1 billion buyback. It's also introducing a brand new interim dividend. And then it's also lifted its profitability outlook. So now it expects a return on tangible equity to be around 9% this year, which is up from its previous guidance of 8%. So we've got both the shareholder returns boosted and then also that guidance boosted. So that really lifted the shares this morning. It's already been having a great year. So before the market opened, the shares were almost 120% over the last 12 months before today. So it's really going well and it's outperforming its peers. And for investors, this is really proof that the ongoing turnaround plan is really working. So the CEO strategy was before focused on kind of boosting capital, leaving non-core businesses behind, but now he kind of changed tactic and is now prioritizing investor payouts, which obviously makes investors very happy, as we saw today.
Chloe, one of the other stocks on my radar this morning is Rolls-Royce. Massive outperformance today. The stock is up almost 10%. But then even if you go back and chart the 1 year versus where it was exactly a year ago, we've doubled in price. What is going on there? Why such a solid performance over the last 12 months or last couple of years?
Yeah, so Rolls-Royce, well, for today at least, what really driven that performance has been the lifted outlook for 2025. So that was driven by, both growing demand for jet engines, but then also the benefits from its cost-saving program. That actually comes after a little bit of struggle for Rolls-Royce. It's dealt with kind of some reliability issues with its engines. So, for example, we had British Airways switching over to a rival engine from General Electric, which was, of course, particularly important given the partnership that existed before between the two British companies. And Rolls-Royce did say that operating profit will be slightly lower in the second half, in part because of those higher maintenance costs that are associated with the engine issues. But that really didn't faze investors much. And, because Rolls-Royce maybe is saying that it is on track to deliver those fixes on those engines, that was reassuring enough and that led the stock higher.
Okay, so that on Rolls-Royce. But there's one stock that is not doing well that we want to talk about, and that's AB InBev. Significant drop. Why?
Yeah, so AB InBev, it makes beers like Budweiser and Corona, and it just did not sell enough of those. So sales dropped in the second quarter. That was particularly due to weak consumer spending, especially in Brazil and China. So it's interesting because Brazil really has been a weak spot for brewers globally. So Heineken also mentioned earlier in the season that consumers were really cautious there. But AB InBev also reported weaker than expected volumes in Europe and in the Middle East. So it's not like it's kind of doing much better in other regions either. The one bright spot is that just like its rivals, it's been investing in non-alcoholic beer, and that's doing quite well. So that non-alcoholic beer segment the revenue grew by a third during the quarter, and Corona Zero in particular almost doubled volumes compared to this time last year. So I guess it should continue focusing on that going forward.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.